Try to force yourself to do work that is outside your natural inclination, you're literally fighting your own neurological nature.
Wow.
That causes massive cognitive friction. Friction causes ego depletion, your willpower drains rapidly, and that delay, that avoidance to protect your energy, is what we label as procrastination.
So the laziness, the avoidance, is actually an alarm bell, a signal from my brain that I should be outsourcing this specific task because I'm the wrong tool for the job.
Yes, listen to the signal. Do not try to use a hammer to turn a screw. It is exhausting and ruins the screw. The text elaborates on this through what is called the Saptanga model. This is the ancient framework outlining the 7 essential parts of a fully functioning kingdom, or, in modern terms, a corporation.
Let's hear the 7 parts. How do they organize an empire?
I will list them briefly to show the scale, but we will focus on the most important dynamic. The 7 are Swami, who is the king or CEO, Amatya, the minister or manager, Janapada, the territory or market, Durga, the fortified infrastructure, Kosha, the treasury or capital, Danda, the army or enforcement, and Mitra, the ally or network.
That is a highly sophisticated organizational chart for the 4th century BC.
It is brilliant, but for our purposes, look purely at the dynamic between the Swami, the king, and the Amatya, the ministers. Does the king, the visionary leader, put on armor and fight in the mud on the front lines of every skirmish?
Usually no. If the king is fighting in the mud, the army has already failed.
Exactly. Does the king sit in the vault and physically count the individual gold coins to ensure the bookkeeping is accurate?
No. He employs an entire department of accountants and treasurers.
Does the king mix mortar and lay the bricks to build the Durga, the fort, with his own bare hands?
Definitely not. He hires architects and masons.
Yet we do exactly this in our own lives. You are the king, the Swami, of your own life and your own business, but you are constantly stepping off the throne to try and be the foot soldier, the accountant, and the bricklayer all at once. You are violating your swadharma.
Wow. That hits hard. I mean, I am obsessively micromanaging every tiny aspect of my own kingdom because I don't trust anyone else to do it.
You are. And what is the physiological result of that micromanagement? It makes you profoundly exhausted. And when you are chronically exhausted, you inevitably slip into that destructive state we defined earlier. You become tamasic. You become destructively lazy, binge-watching TV, not to strategize, but to dissociate from the burnout.
Because I've depleted all my willpower doing tasks I hate. I've burned out the engine.
Exactly. A good king, a wealthy king, never does the heavy lifting. They aggressively leverage the amatya, the ministers, the subject matter experts. They delegate ruthlessly so they can protect their energy for Aanvikshiki, the high-level strategic thinking.
Okay, let's talk about finding these experts, the amatya. It's one thing to say delegate, but finding people you trust with your kingdom is terrifying. The text mentions the necessity of finding a guru, right? A mentor or an expert guide.
Yes. Specifically, a richness guru or a trusted advisor who has already navigated the terrain. You absolutely cannot navigate the complexities of wealth accumulation completely alone. You need someone whose swadharma is seeing the blind spots in your Sankhya calculations.
How do I practically find one today? Because honestly, if I go online right now, every social media platform is flooded with 22-year-olds standing in front of rented sports cars claiming to be wealth gurus.
And Chanakya anticipated exactly that kind of charlatan thousands of years ago. You must be incredibly ruthlessly careful about who you allow to influence your strategy. The text gives very strict, unforgiving criteria for selecting a mentor or partner. First, and most obviously, are they actually demonstrably rich themselves from doing the thing they're teaching?
That's a great filter right away. A lot of fake gurus only make money by selling courses on how to make money. It's a circular grift.
Second, you must aggressively check their background and reputation. Do respected, serious people in their industry vouch for them? Are they known for long-term stability or just flashy short-term schemes? Third, and perhaps most vital to Chanakya, what is their intrinsic integrity? Did they build their wealth legally, ethically, and without exploiting their allies?
Because if they cheated their last partner, they will absolutely cheat you. No shortcuts on character.
Right. Character is the ultimate predictor of future behavior. You must critically evaluate everyone you bring into your inner circle. There is a beautiful, deeply illustrative story in the text that highlights exactly how the truly wealthy operate and think about networks. It's about a young, ambitious boy who is just starting business school.
Oh, I love a good historical parable. Let's hear it.
The young boy is traveling and stops at a modest restaurant for lunch. He happens to sit next to an older, very quiet, very calm man. They strike up a conversation about business, markets, and strategy. The boy is full of fiery ambition and loudly declares that his only goal in life is to become massively rich.
And what does the older, stoic man say to this kid?
The man doesn't lecture him. He just listens patiently, nods, quietly pays the boy's bill, and leaves without a word.
A free lunch and no unsolicited advice. Nice.
After the man leaves, the waiter comes over to the boy's table and says, "Do you have any idea who you were just talking to? That was the wealthiest man in the entire province. He actually owns this restaurant and half the buildings on this street."
The boy must have been absolutely shocked. He was probably expecting a billionaire to be wearing a crown and shouting orders.
He was stunned by the man's quiet humility, his yoga state. Determined to learn, the boy tracks the man down to his sprawling estate. He is granted entry and finds the billionaire sitting in a massive, silent library, just reading, thinking, practicing Aanvikshiki. The boy begs for mentorship, and the man agrees to give him 3 foundational, unshakable rules for generating wealth.
Okay, I have my pen ready. Give me the 3 rules.
First rule, earn credibility above all else. The man explains that money does not flow to the smartest person, it flows to the most trusted person. When a network trusts you implicitly, capital will naturally gravitate toward you because capital seeks safe harbor.
Trust is the ultimate currency. If the market trusts you, the friction of acquiring capital drops to 0.
Exactly. Second rule, honor your word as if your life depends on it. Never, under any circumstances, break a promise or a contract, even if keeping it causes a short-term loss. Your reputation is the root system of your future empires.
Okay, basic, undeniable integrity. It builds the mitra, the allies.
Third rule, if you take a loan or use someone else's resources, return it promptly and with interest. The entire global economy, then and now, runs on the fluidity of borrowing and lending. If you are known as a multiplier of other people's money, you will never lack funding for your ideas.
Return what you owe plus a premium. Makes total sense. It incentivizes people to invest in you again. But this feels like standard business ethics. What is the deeper secret lesson here?
The boy asks exactly that. He says, these are good rules for starting out, but what actually keeps a person rich forever? How do empires survive generational shifts?
What was the billionaire's answer?
He said hard work, but, and this is crucial, not isolated, grinding, solo hard work. The man explains that the truly rich have an impenetrable circle of equally rich, highly competent friends. They form an alliance, they pool their intellect, they share unperceived market data, and they financially support each other during severe macroeconomic downturns.
The allies. The mitra from the 7 parts of the kingdom. They act as a shock absorber against disaster.
Exactly. You can make money alone, but you can never, ever sustain wealth alone. The lone wolf dies in winter, the pack survives. The boy absorbs this and then asks one final profound question. What happens to your massive wealth when you die?
That is the ultimate stoic question. You can't take it with you.
The man laughs. He says he has already structured his estate to split his wealth 3 distinct ways. The first part goes to his family, to secure their base. The second part goes to philanthropic projects he deeply loves to secure his legacy. But the third part is a highly guarded secret.
A secret allocation. Where's it go?
He tells the boy that the truly wealthy fundamentally believe in the unpredictability of the future. They keep a massive portion of their wealth quietly set aside, highly liquid, specifically to invest in unexpected, revolutionary, massive ideas that haven't even been invented yet.
So he wasn't just hoarding gold. He was actively maintaining a war chest, looking at the horizon for the next massive paradigm shift.
Yes. The rich are always scanning the horizon. They are never satisfied with the status quo. And this brings us right back to our foundational concept of Aanvikshiki, the science of strategic thinking.
We have to elevate our minds. We have to think like the king and think like the venture capitalists waiting to deploy that secret third of their wealth.
Yes. And Chanakya provides a framework for this level of perception. The text outlines 3 specific ways a leader, a swami, must process information to find those massive ideas. He categorizes knowledge as directly perceived, unperceived, and inferred.
Break those 3 categories down for me mechanically.
Directly perceived is the most basic level. It is exactly what you see with your own eyes. The tangible data, the current market trends, the opportunities sitting right in front of you that everyone else can also see.
The mango tree above the ground.
Yeah.
Easy to spot, but highly competitive because everyone sees it.
Right. Unperceived knowledge is what you cannot see. But what your trusted amatyas, your expert ministers and mentors tell you is happening behind the scenes. It is insider knowledge. It is the unseen data sets, the shifting regulatory winds, the quiet root systems being built by competitors.
And the third, inferred.
Inferred is the ultimate mark of genius. It is the ability to take the directly perceived data, combine it with the unperceived expert advice, and logically connect the dots to reach a conclusion about a future that does not exist yet. It is pure anticipation.
Oh.
It is inferring that because microchips are getting smaller and internet speeds are getting faster, mobile algorithmic trading will eventually dominate Wall Street and positioning yourself there a decade before it happens.
Okay, this is all incredibly profound. We've covered ancient empires, Stoic philosophy, and advanced economic theory. But here is where the rubber meets the road. I need to ground this. So what does this all mean for me today? Give me something tangible. I need actionable steps that I can execute this afternoon